Kilarigbo Live TV.
Briefing is being undertaken in fulfillment of our assurances to keep Lagosians, Nigerians, and indeed the international community abreast of the status of the case. This briefing, therefore, focuses on police investigative actions since the investigation commenced, the interim findings on the strength of facts and of evidential value so far established, and grounds pending further actions in guiding the investigation to conclusion. The investigation process was directed at addressing two fundamental questions. Firstly, what are the immediate chain of events that occasioned the death of Mohbad? Secondly, who are the actors that could, within the context of extant criminal law and procedures, be evidentially held criminally liable, either individually or jointly, for the death of Mohbad on 12 September 2023. In addressing the latter component of these questions, due investigative actions were focused on the allegations of possible complicity in the death of Mohbad by Abdulaziz Adeshina, aka Naira Marley, and Samson Erinfolami Balogun, aka Sam Larry, who both were widely alleged in the social media of conspiring to serially bully and assault the deceased in his lifetime. It also focuses on allegations on the social media that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency could be complicit in his death following a viral video in which the late singer raised the narrative of his experience while in custody of the agency prior to his death. The intent of this component of the investigation is to establish if there is any evidential proof to circumstantially or directly link the allegations against Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and NDLA to the eventual death of Mohbad on 12 September 2023. Police investigative actions. Following the inauguration of the Special Investigation Team, detectives have undertaken the following actions and covered the underlisted investigative grounds. 1. Identification and interview of vital witnesses. As at today, a total of 26 vital witnesses, including the complainant, have so far been identified and interviewed, and statements recorded by detectives from them in aid of investigations. These include the following. Mr. Aloba Joseph Oluwabamiwo, the father of the deceased. Mrs. Abosede Aloba, mother of the deceased. Mrs. Kolawole Kemi Bose, deceased sister. Miss Aloba Blessing Oluwaseun, deceased sister. Mr. Aloba Adura Agbemi Shedrack, deceased brother. Mrs. Cynthia Adebanjo, deceased wife. Ms. Sheyi Awonuga, deceased manager. Ms. Adeyemo Boluwatife, aka Darosha, deceased personal assistant. Mr. Ajishegiri Sultan Ayobami, deceased DJ. Olarewaju Idris Adedoja, deceased personal photographer. Mr. Idris Busari, deceased friend. Aderinto Ademola, aka Ade West, deceased friend. Mr. Adeyemi Olamide, deceased friend. Oladapo Oreoluwa, aka Lifestyle, deceased friend. Adesoya Adebiyi Dolapo, aka IJ Singh, deceased friend. Fidelix Esabon is the driver to the Prado Jeep that the deceased hired to attend the concert in Ikorodu on 10 September 23, and in an attempt to punch Ibrahim during their physical brawl, Mohbad hit and broke the rear side glass, causing him injury on his right hand. For those of you that would be interested in as a picture of the vehicle, the damage that led to the injury on Mohbad. And circulate. Mr. Soso Soberekon is the show promoter who invited Mohbad to perform at Ikorodu to promote his product, the General Bitters, on the night of 10th September 23, where the fight that led to the injury and subsequent chains of events started from. He has given detailed statements. Mr. Omoniyi Temidayo Raphael, aka Zlatan, he was one of the musicians that performed at the same event in Ikorodu on that night. Engineer Chinaka Jesse, he's the deceased neighbor whose vehicle was used to rush him to the hospital when he became unconscious. Dr. Olushola Joshua, he's the medical director of Kuramed Hospital in Lekki, Lagos, where the deceased was taken to and declared as, confirmed as brought in dead on 12th September 2023. Dr. Beke Deborah Oluwatosin is a medical director who was on duty, and he was one that certified the deceased dead on the day he was brought in at about 15-20 hours. Ms. Fajulugbe Semitope, Ms. Abbas Aminat Abiola, and Mr. Oluwajobi Emmanuel. They are all staff of Kuramed Hospital who also witnessed when he was brought in dead. Dr. Owuala Chigozie, he's the director and CMD of Perez Medical Care in Lekki. When they took him to the first hospital, the Kuramed, and he was certified dead, his family members and friends that took him there were not convinced. So they took the body from there again to Perez Hospital, where he was recertified as dead. Then Dr. Temitope Maxine Olumuyiwa, he is the medical director of Cornerstone Hospital, Akute, Ogun State, where the principal suspect, Feisayo Ogedengbe, claimed to have been trained as an auxiliary nurse. The written testimonies of the witnesses are largely of high evidential value, and they have aided in establishing the sequence of events leading to the death of Mohbad, the identification of the suspects, and the roles each played. They have also aided in gaining a clearer insight into the allegations of assault and bullying leveled against Sam Larry and Naira Marley. Suspects. 5 suspects have so far been identified, arrested, and detained and interrogated on their alleged roles in the sequence of events that led to the death of the singer. The summary is as follows. Ms. Feisayo Ogedengbe is the auxiliary nurse who was contacted and invited by Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending, a friend of Mohbad, on 11th September 2023 to treat the singer at the deceased residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12th September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chains of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer. She is the principal suspect in the death of Mohbad. She acknowledged that it was the injections that she administered on the deceased that triggered the reactions which eventually led to Mohbad's death. Other expert opinions and witnesses' statements corroborated her admittance. Her actions of administering doses of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, intravenous, and ceftriaxone injection, which was also administered intravenous on Mohbad at his residence, that's Mohbad's residence, on 12 September 2023, immediately triggered the reactions, including vomiting, goosebumps, and convulsion that eventually resulted in the singer's death. This criminal liability is further heightened, granted the evidential fact that as an auxiliary nurse, she is not qualified to administer such medications or function as a qualified nurse. She also did this in a non-clinical environment and in a professionally negligent manner that negated standard medical protocols.
Ìkànnì amúlùdún àkọ́kọ́ tó ń gbé àṣà àti ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá lárugẹ.
Atagbantagba lóde tagbangba ló ti pápá tó ní kí ló ní tagbangba ó ṣe.
Àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbìn alárinrin ètò ọ̀dọ́ wa ló sodo sí.
Mo lè má lè sọ òyìnbó púpọ̀ but nínú Yorùbá tí mo ń sọ àwọn kan yọ Yorùbá ń bẹ̀.
Ṣé báwa náà kọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba ni kámú láti Kilarigbo Unlimited.
Kilarigbo Unlimited ládùn ètò tí kò láfiwé.
Alárakúàrà.
Orí ètò Alárakúàrà ní àwàyè lórí Kilarigbo TV.
Mo lo ata, tomatoes, àlùbọ́sà, ẹyin, mo lo carrot, mo dẹ̀ tún fi hot dog náà sí.
Mélòó la fẹ́ kà nínú eyín Adépèlé KPK kò gbọ̀kẹ̀. Kilarigbo ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ká ṣe àkálẹ̀ àwọn ayẹyẹ lọ́nà tí ìgbàlódé léyìí tẹ́yìn ó sì gbádùn ẹ̀.
Ọba sọ́yọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ jábẹ́sì padà, ìwọ ni Olúwa wá fàyè mi ṣe yanu.
Kilarigbo Live TV gbọ́ ń pa ẹ̀. Fún ìpolówó ọjà tàbí àkálẹ̀ èyíkéyìí ayẹyẹ tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe ìyún event coverage pẹ̀lú owó tí ò gani lára. Kilarigbo Live TV ẹ̀rọ amóhùnmáwòrán tíá.